how are you? Hope you're good. Today we have a very chilled Q&A type of thing stuff happening. I asked you guys to ask me questions on Instagram. If you haven't followed me on Instagram and you would like to, I am just under the name bookroast. I'll insert it somewhere here. I planned on filming it that weekend, but I just didn't have it in me, I don't think. Something came up. Probably hell. And a quiet corner reading is asking, I'd like to ask if you could inhabit any fictional world, which would it be, excluding the world of Harry Potter, as I'm pretty sure that would be your first choice. Accurate. Have a great day. I hope you're having a good day as well. Thank you for your question. What should I even choose? I mean, to be fair, most of these worlds don't seem to be that great. It depends if we're taking part like after all of the stuff happens and it's just like a forever happily ever after kind of thing, because if then maybe. I want to say the name of the wind, but at the same time I think there's very few people who would experience the good parts of their life, so maybe not. To be fair, I probably would like to live in Valaris from A Court of Mist and Fury, because they just seem to have the best time there, and even just like citizens, you don't have to be the High Lord if you live in Valaris. Everyone takes care of you, everyone's kind of like happy and like, I know, isolated from the rest of the world, but they have their own like utopia thing going on, and I would quite like to be the part of that. Oceans of Books is asking, if you could bring one character to life, who would it be and why? I just realized there's quite a few questions, so I'm gonna try and be very quick with these so I can squeeze in more. You know what, I'm gonna go with Eladin from The Name of the Wind, because he's an enigma that I would like to be around because it just does things. He does things and makes no sense, and it does seem quite a dangerous person to pull out of the book, but you know what? Gryffindor. I don't know, it just seems like it would be fun. Booker Tobin, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, is asking, since when are you part of the Bookstagram booktube community? Oh, I can't remember the actual, it's coming on to 2 years for booktube, but it's very similar, just add like 2 or 3 months to Bookstagram, so not that old, fairly recent. And as soon as I realized that Bookstagram and booktube is a thing, I was like, I want to be a part of that. And life has not been the same after. Handmade by Ark is asking, if you could change any of the pairings, couples of the main Harry Potter characters, who would you change and why? If you haven't read the books, mute me until I let go of this cup. I've always been a little bit conflicted about Ron and Hermione, and I know even J.K. Rowling said that they shouldn't be together, and I just couldn't see them the same afterwards, although in the books I did root for them the first time I read it, but I would have loved her to be with a Weasley, but maybe one of the twins. Actually, I was kind of rooting for Crumb and her as well. I just felt like Hermione needed someone outside of the circle. I didn't like this like circle type of like, you know, don't know. I do sort of wish that J.K. Rowling didn't mention that, because now it's just sort of ruined. Why do you do that? If you don't want the characters to end up with each other and you think that it's not okay, then don't do that. It's your books. Anyway, calming down. Yeah, I just feel like conflicted about it. I don't know if I would change it, but yeah. Emma the Lionheart is asking, what is the funniest thing Momo and Zeus do? She says that my cat loves to play peekaboo around the kitchen. I don't know what the funniest thing is. Zeus really makes really weird noises. He has such a weird voice. Sometimes it's completely like a normal cat, and then sometimes he will make like pigeon noises. Sometimes he'll like scream like a person. It is really weird, but it's kind of funny. Percival Diana, maybe? Sorry. Why don't you let your hair with its natural curls? That is a really packed question. I would love to be able, and it would save me so much time, to just be with my natural hair. If you don't know, I basically have like a white girl afro thing going on, but it's not a proper afro, because that afro usually is very thick hair. My hair is extremely thin, so it's just like fluff, and it's really, I know sometimes I upload like Instagram pictures just to show, because it's like sort of funny. It's not manageable in real life. I wouldn't be able to walk. It just goes everywhere. I look like a crazy old guy, like Einstein type of thing. It's just like old man fluff kind of hair. I know it sounds really weird, but it's not manageable, and that's why I don't. Believe me, I have tried. It probably for you guys in the Instagram stories looks better than it really is, because just trust me, I would if I could, if I felt comfortable with that. It is not because it's curly, it's also not curly, it's just there. Smaidonis, I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher all of these names if they're not actual words. So, excuse me, is asking, if you were born in Lithuania, how and why did you decide to move to Scotland? I moved because I wanted to study in Scotland. I don't think that it was a very packed decision. I mean, you would think that I would have thought very long and hard about where I want to move, but I was 19 and I was like, Scotland sounds good. I was just eager to move, and I was eager to experience other cultures and other worlds, and Scotland just sort of stuck with me. So I'm afraid I don't have like a proper answer. It just, I suppose, attracted me like a magnet does, and I was like, cool. Our Floral is asking, speaking of wands, if you were at Hogwarts and were to create a spell, what would it do and what would it be called? It would probably be called some sort of eye clean, and it would be just like a spell to tidy and put things in their places and wipe the surfaces and hover, but like instantaneously, basically to clean your flat, because I am raging of how much time I honestly just spend cleaning. Sometimes I feel like that's all I do and it's never clean. Like, what is this? So I would love to have a spell that just does that. Renar's Bedray is asking, is the letter G your actual name or is it short for something? No, my name is Kentaria, and G is just what I go for because it's easier on both ends. Finn Jesse is asking, I would like to ask whether or not you are planning on staying in Scotland, or do you at some point want to move back to Lithuania or move to another country? And have you already visited all kinds of Harry Potter sites that are there in Scotland? I do not know if I'm gonna stay here forever, because that's like a big commitment. I might feel like moving, or well, obviously like just feel you have to like save up and stuff. Like, you don't, I can't just be like, oh, you know what, I feel like going to Canada, like off. Canada is actually on the list. I would love to try and live in Canada, but there are certain types of countries that attract me and then certain types that don't. I don't see myself moving back to Lithuania. Not that I don't think that it's beautiful, I do. It's just whenever I go back, I don't feel like I want to actually stay there. My life very much moved out of there when I did, and other than my family, I don't really have a lot of left there. So I don't really see the appeal anymore. I would like to, I don't know if I would like to travel and come back to Scotland, because I do miss Scotland when I go to visit my family. I really don't know if I'm gonna stay or not. Well, I suppose we'll just have to see. AJ is asking, the old classic, you can have dinner with 3 fictional characters, who and why? Oh my god, and then it just requires so much thinking. Why? There's no bloody way that I can like sit here and actually decide on those 3 characters right now, because boy, this is way too important for me to just pick at the top of my head. I feel like Dumbledore would probably make the list. Gandalf maybe? Maybe we'll just sit all of the grey wise men and see what they come up with, and then they go back into their fictional worlds and then they make a lot of money out of their brilliant ideas. Or they advise me on how not to stress about everything and what to do with my life. What's a third grey old man that's wise and all-knowing? I can't think of any. Yara Dimp is asking, hi, if you had to choose a book to represent your life, what would it be and why? Scrappy Little Nobody, just because of the title. I didn't like the book, but just because of the title, because I feel like that's, you know, accurate. MRSA Wolf, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to pronounce that differently. How did you and Logan meet, and what are the most important lessons you learned from being in a relationship? Lots of love back. It's not really like a very fun story. We just met in like we were both at the same uni, and we met through sort of mutual friends and a party. Very, very not interesting story. What I learned from a relationship is that it never is the way that you think it's gonna be. It's just very simplified, and I feel like media makes you think that it's gonna be all like amazing and, you know, it roll the montage, but it's not that like that. And it is, I think what I learned is that managing expectations is very important. If you could ask J.K. Rowling 3 questions about Harry Potter the Wizarding World, what would they be? Really good question. This is by Crazy Cupcakes. You know, I'm sure if I sat down I would come up with like some really great questions, but just at the top of my head I would ask, 1, why was Dumbledore such a prick at the end of it? Like, why was he so manipulative and not honest? Stop. Number 2 is, why did he hire Gilderoy Lockhart in the 2nd year? Because I really don't see the reason for that. I mean, even if he was the only guy that they could find in like short notice, I'm sure with his case it would be better to just hire a person from the street. I don't know, just why? And the 3rd question is, did he, you know, when he meets, like, because I'm just rereading the books and I just finished the 3rd one, you know, when he goes into the hospital to see Hermione and Ron and Harry with the timepiece thing, and he just says what to do but he doesn't, and he just, why is he risking it without saying it properly what they should do? Because it makes no sense. So basically I would just ask about character. Bossy Nurse 20 is asking, if you were a book genre, which would you be? What genre best describes your personality? I would probably be some sort of anxiety-based contemporary, because let's be real, I want to say fantasy, I do live in my own head, so maybe fantasy. CS is asking, how old are Zeus and Momo? You bought them or they're from an animal shelter? We went to the animal shelter at first and we wanted to get a dog or a cat from there, but they didn't actually have any young cats, and I grew up with a very sick dog, and I just wanted an animal that is healthy. Joke's on me, because none of my cats are. But whatever, yeah. And then I really wanted a dog because I am a dog person, believe it or not, but okay to have a dog at this age for me, because we couldn't walk it, we couldn't give it enough time. Yeah, so we ended up having cats, and I wanted the cat to be, it was like, if we're already getting the cats, I want the cats to be as dog-like as they can, so we went for Bengals. Boy, was that maybe a mistake, because they are hell to live with. You think they're all cute, but they're actual devils. 3 years old, I think. Momo is a few months younger, because they are brothers, but they're from another mother. But yeah, they're gonna be 3 this summer. My Dead End is asking, what are your hobbies, despite of reading, of course, and which kind of music do you listen to? I am very weird with the music thing, because I definitely just like a song, not a genre, so I probably would like a lot of songs, and then from the same genres or types of music I would also not like a lot of them. So it's kind of a hard question to answer, but I recently realized that I'm listening to a lot of... Stop! Speaking of the devil, sit down and calm down. Going and shouting everywhere, calm down. I think it's called Lofi Hip. What's it? There's like, it actually has like a name. Oh, what are my hobbies? It's cute that you think I have time for anything else. But this is it. This is pretty much it. Jenna Bookhaven is asking, what is favorite book event you went to, and do you have any advice for people going to a book event or convention for first time? I haven't been to any book events other than Victoria Schwab's talk when she visited Edinburgh. Well, she lives in Edinburgh now, but yeah, I haven't been to any conventions, so I sadly don't have any advice other than probably, you know, just try not to get overwhelmed and survive. Moira MH is asking, what's your favorite smell? To make this a little easier, if you smelled a love potion, and what are 3 things it would smell like? That's not easy. I do really like the smell of coconut. I'm trying to think. Freshly cut grass is just the smell on a hot summer's day just after the rain, when also it's just that ozone thing, like, it's just great. Also like the smell of a fireplace. All very natural kind of things. Sophia BFG is asking, what's your favorite Harry Potter book? I feel like every time I reread those books, there's find a new one that took the favorite place. I do usually think that it's the last one. How many books do you have? What's your favorite film? Oh my god. I'm not gonna even attempt the favorite film thing. Changes literally every time. Every time I see some good movie and I'm just like, this is my new favorite. It changes all the time, honestly. And I don't know the exact number of how many books I have. Most of my books you see behind me. Some are on my Kindle, but that many. Smogian is asking, what is your favorite kind of chocolate? Milk. Milk and peanut, or like hazelnut, or any type of nut, but the nuts that are not like chopped, like actual proper nuts in there. I really like that. And also, what is your favorite kind of tea? Mint. Inkby Books is asking, do you have any tips for people who want to start a bullet journal? You've gotten me so interested in it. I am really nowhere close to a person who probably should give advice about the bullet journaling, but I think the main thing is to just make it work for you. I'm still looking at how to set it up properly that is useful for me. I think I sort of like hit the place where I'm kind of happy with it, but just not put pressure on yourself to make it perfect. To enjoy the journey of discovering what type of things you find useful in a planner. Not to get overwhelmed and just start simple, just a few pages. And she's also asking, are you planning on getting, do you have any book inspired tattoos? No to the both of them. I don't think I'm gonna get a tattoo. I love tattoos on people. Like, I feel like I would regret it because I'm such a like, I don't know. Unless I get something really meaningful to me that I feel like I have to put on my body forever, then maybe. Bunny's asking, dream employment. Girl, this is my most like anxiety inducing thing. I don't know what I want, and it's like, it stresses me out literally daily, so if I knew, that would be great. Victoria Nordstrom is asking, what programs do you use to edit your videos and to edit your thumbnails? To edit my videos, I use the Final Cut Pro. To edit my thumbnails, I use Photoshop. Ava Explorer is asking, you might have already said this somewhere, but what is your wand made out of? If you have taken the Pottermore quiz. Also, when you are reading, do you say the words in your head as you read? Oh, the Pottermore thing, I honestly cannot remember. I think it was... I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I could check, but I don't remember my login details either. So, sorry. I think I did when I did make a video of me retaking the quiz, so it might be there. And yes, I do read out loud in my head when I read. I heard that not everyone does, but for the life of me, I tried just for the sake of trying, and I have no idea how people do that. How? A Bookish Mel is asking, how do you get through reading slumps? Do you have any go-to books to help pull you out of one? Honestly, not really. If I am feeling like a slump is coming on, I probably usually will go for a contemporary, mainly because they, for me, are easier to read, and the quicker I read, the more I sort of feel accomplished, and feeling accomplished with book reading is probably what helps me get over the slump. But usually if I feel a slump coming on, I just don't read, because I feel like that's the best cure. I feel if you just stop reading, you will miss it eventually, and that is the best way to do it. Taya Payait, oh, butcher that. Do you watch Eurovision? And greetings from Lithuania. Well, greetings back. I do not watch Eurovision anymore, but I used to with my family when I was growing up, and we used to sort of like bet on who's gonna win. It was always sort of like a little bit making fun of them, because like, to be fair, that is not great music. Well, at least we didn't think so, but it was great fun to actually meet up with the family and family's friends and just go ahead and yeah, watch that. It was like a tradition, and I think they still do that. I just don't, because I'm away from them. Honeyed Words Reads is asking, if you and Logan were dogs, what kind of dogs would you be? Logan would be one of those dogs that like just lays there, and sometimes you look at them and you're not sure if they're like awake or not. Not very interactive maybe, although with like spurs of energy. I don't know what kind of dog that describes, but you let me know. I would probably be one of like really weird dogs that sometimes are completely lovely, and then other times just like goes like tits up and ends up like panicking about everything. Oh my god, I would be one of those tiny rat dogs, wouldn't I? Hopefully not. But anyway, that is everything. This is probably still gonna end up being super long, sorry. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really like doing those Q&As. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!